Francesca from Consciousful Tarot. Thank you so much for tuning into my YouTube channel and clicking on this video. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and click on the subscribe button. Today I'm going to be doing another celebrity reading, and today I'm going to be doing Ariana Grande and her husband Dalton Gomez. So I know a lot of you guys probably don't know who they are together as a couple, but they recently got secretly married about a year ago. And I'm going to go ahead and be tapping into their energy and what's the purpose behind their connection. Then I'm going to go ahead and elaborate how they feel about each other and what's going to happen moving forward. So the purpose of their connection was actually like a destined role for Ariana Grande. In order for her to overcome some emotional upheavals, she was going through a lot of emotional frustration, self-sabotage due to a lot of unexpected changes in her life. I'm seeing around like 2018, 2019, which is the year that Mac Miller did pass away. And Mac Miller was one of her soulmates. So she was going through a lot of wounds, a lot of self-image issues. She was going through a lot of massive changes, and it was divinely orchestrated for her to meet Dalton at this time. I do see that she could have met him through like a company or like through individuals that are in the same industry. But it just so happens that they met at the right time because it was meant for her to transform limited beliefs about herself. It was also meant for her to overcome fear and lack of confidence. The connection was divinely guided for her to also like take action on things that she was inhibiting due to her self-sabotage. And they were meant to go in a commitment, in a marriage. This partnership was actually meant to help them both harness the self-confidence to follow their dreams and to take radical action towards changes that they need to make in their life. So they were both kind of like a catalyst in each other's life in order to get out of any sort of like stagnation or get out of any sort of self-doubt. So I am seeing that it was meant for help. It was meant to help them both grow and transform their lives rather than wallowing in panic or in frustration of self. So they were both meant to kind of like create some sort of equilibrium in each other's lives to help them escalate and catalyze themselves towards their dreams here. They both have similar belief systems. They both share similar values. But I do see that they do have a past life baggage that is actually quite heavy, especially when it comes to the emotional triggers and especially when it comes to needing to overcome emotional habits. So that's like the main highlight when it comes to the purpose of their connection and what it truly means. So we're gonna go ahead and see how they feel about each other right now. So the way that Ariana Grande and Dalton think and feel about each other is that they have a lot of power games. I'm not gonna lie, they do have a lot of passion that makes them kind of like ground the connection, makes them kind of like harness the connection in a way that's very fruitful. But when it ultimately comes down to conversation, when it comes down to beliefs, when it comes down to honoring their truth, they have some sort of issue when it comes to debating, when it comes to challenging each other's beliefs. They have a lot of interference when it comes to making agreements, especially when it comes to lifestyle changes and also other people. So Dalton may have jealousy issues, and he also may have fear of abandonment. So he constantly is trying to be very assertive with Ariana Grande, constantly like being needy, constantly trying to validate his position in her life. And Ariana Grande is more like the one that honors her solitude. She honors being free-spirited, and she's very grounded. And this creates some sort of interference in their way of communication. And they're both at a place where they're feeling offended. You know, they're feeling very offensive when it comes to communication because they're responding very emotionally, very subjective. They're also being very reactive to each other rather than responsive. I see them both trying to actually take a pause to recuperate because there has been a lot of power games, a lot of codependency, runner chaser that have actually brought them to a space where they've been in like a pause, like contemplating separation. But then they try to, it's like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, like they fight, and then after the whole fight they just have a crazy sex scene. So that's what I'm seeing here. And this is part of their connection. So like I said earlier, that they're meant to overcome emotional triggers, emotional habits, emotional instincts. They're meant to trigger each other when it comes to their emotions. So they're meant to you know, make the worst come out of each other in order to heal, in order to bring the suppressed emotions to light, because it seems as though this is like the purpose of this connection, especially when it comes to healing fear of intimacy on Ariana Grande's end, and then fear of abandonment and rejection on Dalton's end. And right now what's happening is that Ariana Grande is like being very strategic. Like she's trying to be very secluded from Dalton. Like she wants her space. You know, I'm not saying that they're going in separation right now, but she wants her space. Like she's probably not sleeping with him. Like he's being overly clingy, and she's trying to protect her energy, because in a way that he's being too overbearing to the point where it's coming off clingy, and it's coming off overreactive, and I'm not gonna lie, to the point where he can raise his voice. You know, he can be emotionally manipulative. He can love bomb her to the point where she's kind of getting annoyed by it. So they're at a point right now where, yes, they're still in some sort of harmony, but there's a lot of truth that's coming out right now, especially when it comes to the power games, especially when it comes to where Ariana Grande needs to put her boundary, you know, where she needs to step into her power, and then also where Dalton is overstepping his power, right? So let's go ahead and see what's going to happen to them moving forward. So what's going to be happening between Dalton and Ariana Grande moving forward is that unfortunately I do see them getting a divorce, and I made a prediction around Scorpio season of the year 2022. And the reason why is because the power games that I recently just mentioned are going to become more intense. It's going to be to the point where there will be aggression. It's going to be to the point where there may be domestic or verbal abuse, which is going to cause a lot of turmoil, a lot of resentment, a lot of triggers that is going to create a lot of toxicity in this connection. There's going to be a lot of regrets from both ends. They're going to push each other to the edge to the point where there's no going back. But they're going to recognize that this connection in its totality ultimately wasn't really what they thought it was, you know. So they had potentially rose-colored glasses when they got into the connection. You know, ultimately the connection, like I said, was like a catalyst for them, specifically for Ariana Grande, to kind of get on her path to overcome self-sabotage and internal frustration, right, to keep her in her power. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're meant to be together for a lifetime, right? So I am seeing that there's going to be a lot of violence, a lot of bickering, a lot of mental abuse that's going to lead to both of them reminiscing in agony, dwelling in agony, in misery, and in a lot of isolation. Like they may still be together until Scorpio season, which is October/November, but they're going to be mentally isolated. There's going to be a lot of inhibitions, fear, bondage. What's going to keep them bonded till this time, like till Scorpio season, is going to be sex. It's going to be the passion. It's going to be the fear of also releasing the connection due to what other people are going to say. But they're going to realize that they're going to be more happy being single. They're going to realize that it's going to be time to move on and choose a new direction where they're going to be more liberated. Like they're going to realize that they need to take action out of this connection. There's going to be a lot of attitude problems between them, where they're going to be very vicious. I'm picking up specifically Dalton. He's going to become very possessive to the point where he's going to become vicious. And this is going to make Ariana Grande, need to value her self-respect and her self-worth. And it's going to make her draw a line in this connection. So ultimately, at the end of a connection, really, usually get the Death card, which is all about transformation and rebirth, yes, and growth. But that's what they're gonna end up doing. They're gonna need to transform. They're gonna need to separate in order to transform. They're gonna need to release themselves from this bondage. And there's going to be a lot of fear in doing so. There's going to be a lot of confusion. There's going to be also a lot of mediation that's only going to lead to more confusion and lack of agreement. Like they're not going to be able to have a meeting of the minds. And I'm just seeing like ultimately when it comes down to it, they're not mentally compatible to the point where they're meant to be lifetime partners. And this is why the connection won't be successful. But at that point, they're going to be very uncertain of the future. They're going to be, you know, sad about leaving each other, but they're going to realize that in order to love themselves, they're going to have to let this connection go. And it's going to teach them a lot about the value of relationships, the value of also their own self-love. And in return, they're actually going to go both in a new direction to find a new romance. So I know one of you guys left in the comment to do a reading on Ariana Grande and Big Sean. I did it on Dalton and Ariana Grande because of course that's her husband. However, I did pick up on the connection between Big Sean and Ariana Grande, just because I was just a little nosy and I wanted to see what was up. Okay, so before I finish off, I do want to finish off that with the relationship between Ariana Grande and Dalton. It's meant to help them also step up into their leadership issues. It's also meant to help them like harness the power to resolve issues without being reactive or without losing their sense of self, hence like not falling into codependency. And then also needing to realize that they need to become more assertive rather than passive. So Ariana Grande probably needs to work on that, to be assertive rather than passive, because Dalton is the one that's like very assertive and straightforward, and Ariana Grande is more like, you know, passive. Like she tries to avoid emotions, and like that's what she's meant here to learn. They're also meant to learn to speak up for what they want, and just to sort things in like a leadership role. But they were both destined to meet each other. They were both, you know, they opened their hearts to each other. The emotions are real. The true love was real. But the reason why they won't be successful is because they didn't harness the mastership and the self-mastership in order to avoid the recklessness in this connection. Like they could have moved too quick, too soon in this connection, and the power games took over. But this connection, I'm seeing like the Hindu elephant in my mind, like, which is like Ganesh, which is like actually like the god of help. So like divine, right? God sent Dalton into Ariana Grande's life as like a way to help her at that time, because like I said, that could have been around the time where, you know, she was still grieving Mac Miller, and that was really hard for her. So yeah. Okay, so back to Big Sean and Ariana Grande. So I got messages about how they currently feel about each other. And currently, till this day, Big Sean is, I'm not gonna lie, he is a threat in their connection. Ariana Grande still has feelings for him. Ariana Grande is actually, one second. Ariana Grande is actually very much attracted to him. She tries not to flirt with him. Like Ariana Grande is very flirty. She's very tempted by Big Sean. Big Sean can also have like a thing with someone else, and he's very tempted to test the waters with Ariana Grande. They're both like, they both text each other. I'm not gonna lie, they both text each other. I am seeing recently, like in the last 6 weeks, and like going into Cancer season and Leo season, they're gonna be like talking a lot, like where they're suddenly gonna have like this epiphany of like they want to sleep with each other. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna like get invited, like they're gonna invite one another, like either Big Sean or Ariana Grande is gonna invite one another to like an outing, or like to be around people, and they're gonna see each other, and it's going to be very alluring. It's going to be very magnetic. It's going to be very sensual, to the point where they're going to be very tempted to flirt with each other, to cross that line. And Ariana Grande is gonna realize that like she still like likes him, like she has a lot of feelings for him, like he makes her really happy, they're really compatible, there's this emotional compelling feeling that she feels for him. But then like she's gonna like run away because she has a fear of being someone that maybe a homewrecker, or someone that is labeled as a cheater. So she's gonna like in these next 7 months, 6 months, she's gonna begin to contemplate about what it would be like to leave Dalton, especially because of their current circumstances, but also because she still has major feelings for Big Sean. And Big Sean is very much attracted to Ariana. He puts her on a pedestal. He's also very intimidated by the challenges in the way, but he's very confident to the point where like he still offers her minimum things. So whether it's a compliment, whether it's an invitation to go out, but I'm not gonna lie, in Leo season, so at the end of July, August, right, I am seeing like potentially a hidden scandal between them. So this can be like them being seen out together or them secretly hooking up. I'm not gonna lie, because they're both gonna make the effort to date. They're gonna make an effort to actually like reciprocate with each other. But Ariana Grande is gonna feel, she's gonna feel a little bit like anxious. She's gonna feel a little bit wary to do this. But if you guys want a specific reading on Big Sean and Ariana Grande, I would love to do that because I love that tea. And if you guys would want a specific reading on any other celebrity, you can go ahead and mention it in the comments below. And if you want a personal reading, you can go ahead and book your reading at consciousfultarot.com. I specialize in love, relationships, career path, and honestly, I can answer any question you have with guidance, step-by-step guidance and coaching. And you can also check me out on Instagram and TikTok. All right, see you guys there. Bye.